Hey. Oh, look at that. Oh my God. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the stars and the crackers and everything.
Ah, ta-da!
Welcome, everybody, and thank you for hopping on.
Thank you.
Uh, Truly, a conversation around having ease with family is, we have a number of people who've actually registered who we've never met before. It was interesting how we've had so many people from different walks of life who've sent messages in of, actually thanking us for creating this, because it's like, thank you for creating this simply because I'm struggling with my 25-year-old son. And one said, I'm struggling with my 58-year-old daughter. So I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. And there, it's like, it's sometimes you look for that space or where you can actually talk to somebody and just get a different perspective to parenting and to being a child.
चल साउंड कम करना प्लीज.
Hello, Suman.
Hi dear.
Yeah. So for all of you who don't know us, I'm Chandana Bawa from Delhi.
And I am Isha Bawa from Los Angeles.
Yeah. And we are mother-daughter, and we have been facilitating Conscious Parents, Conscious Kids classes for almost 8 years now. And it's a different perspective towards family and parenting. I mean, how many of you actually are any of you struggling with kids? Like anybody? Anybody? Yeah,
Yes, I
Yes.
know.
yes, yes, I know. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh dear. Yeah. It's like a common struggle, yet we try so hard to cover up because we don't want anyone to know that we're struggling with our kids, because then it means our life is so imperfect. Which is really the funny part of it all, because it's not imperfect. It's just what is. That and
also, it's like, are you really struggling with your kids or are you pretending to struggle with your kids? Because that's what's accepted in this reality.
yeah, that.
Everything that is times a godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, online shots, boys, perverts, and beyonds. It's like this reality says that parenting is really hard. This reality has always promoted the fact that parents and kids cannot be friends, or parents and children have to have this barrier, border. Something that's actually extremely popular nowadays amongst a lot of people is boundaries. I hear a lot of that. I hear a lot of this term often enough today, where I hear enough people say, I don't know how to create healthy boundaries. Or they say, even like kids today, nowadays, adult children go around um, saying a lot of this, that, I need to create healthy boundaries between my parents and me, or my grandparents and me, or my friends and myself. And boundaries is something that's actually really highly promoted. And with boundaries, what you're really creating is nothing other than just a comfortable distance between two people, and a lack of sense of oneness and communion that's actually available and possible. That as a parent, when you asked to have a child in your life, you were aware of something different that's available and possible. And as a child, when you said yes to your parents and decided and chose them and decided to come into this world, you knew you could create something different with them. But this reality talks a lot about having and promoting comfortable distance, which may work for you, or which may not work for you. That's for you to figure out. But just because it's being promoted or said doesn't mean you have to adopt it as yours.
Wow. Thank you for bringing up this energy of boundaries. It starts off with an energy of um, the need to honor yourself, or the need to honor the
Shut
relationship.
up, Han. Oh,
Okay, we will. It's almost like, or we will not, but it's almost like, where you create this boundary because it comes from the space of, I need to honor myself or I need to honor my relationship. And that's been misidentified and misapplied as a separation. It's like
Hmm.
almost like to honor myself, I have to separate from you, or else I'm not honoring myself,
Yeah.
which is the beginning of the so called boundary, which is actually just a wall. So, does anyone, does this sound familiar to anybody? Or is this just something that we are talking that is not an energy in your world? Yes, my dear
Yeah.
C. Yeah, it sounds okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for putting your hands up. And yeah, so boundaries is actually, you want to ask, am I really asking to create a boundary or am I asking to honor myself?
That.
Because when you honor yourself, you don't create a separation, you include the next person, but you allow yourself to voice what works and what doesn't work by being an allowance of yourself and of them. Now, I do know that the number of you who have joined have never done access before. Isha, did I share with you that I shared the link in my St. Bede's College group? And we have some amazing
Oh my
DDS.
God, you did not share that with
Yes,
me.
I know.
Oh,
So
wow. That's exciting.
yeah, so we have a number of people who are totally new to access and, wouldn't even know the
Wow.
terms. Yeah, and it's so special, because it's like, um, yeah, so it's like that energy of, that need to honor yourself, which actually has you needing to put a boundary up or needing to put a wall up, almost as though you can protect yourself by hiding behind the wall.
Yeah.
Is one of the biggest lies in any form of relationship. I know we are talking about families here,
Parenting.
but this goes with any kind of relationship, guys. It goes with any kind of relationship, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family, whether it's, whether you have a relationship with your business or whether you have a relationship with animals or whatever. If you need to put boundaries up, you're actually going into separation.
Yeah. There's a very big difference between boundary and honoring yourself. Massive difference. It actually has nothing to do with each other at all.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about honoring, Isha?
Yes, it also, okay, yes, we'll talk about honoring, but another thing that I just kind of just got is that the thing with boundaries is also that you don't allow people to care for you when they really, really, really care for you. You stop people from being a contribution to you that really are desiring to to, to contribute to you, that because you're like, nah, I gotta do it myself. I gotta be this independent person that gets everything done myself. And you're refusing to receive contribution. And with people around you being like, hey, I'm willing to contribute to you. Um, you look like you had a rough day. Can I give you a warm cup of hot chocolate? Would that make you smile? And it's like these little signs of caring, these signs of contribution to you actually start to feel like someone is overstepping their boundary. And how much of that is actually just a lack of receiving, lack of willingness to receive.
Simply because there's a judgment in place that this is too much or this is not the way to. Comes
Yeah.
from the space of the right way of being a parent, the right way of being a child, the right way of being a grandparent versus the wrong way of being one. So you're constantly trying to not be wrong while being in constant judgment of yourself that you are wrong. which
Yeah.
creates quite a conflict in your world, which you find yourself struggling with, which sometimes the next person doesn't even know what's going on in your world, but they take it personally.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you have gone through that experience, that emotional, you want to be there for someone, but the next person is like, no. And you're like, oh, it must be because of me, or it must be because they don't like me, or they don't want me, when it's really nothing to do with you. It's just their own personal, you
Yeah.
know,
It's
battles.
like it's like a huge unwillingness to just allow you in. You know, how many times does it feel like you're trying to pass or get through this really strong sense of a wall, but there's no way to go because this person across is just such a believer in having a boundary between the both of you.
Yeah.
So we
And
have quite
guess what? That's You don't have to be stuck with that, because we're going to share tools with you so you can change that.
yeah.
Yeah, we do have hands up.
Yes. So do we want to start with Sri Devi?
Yes, please.
Hi. Boundaries and barriers are the same.
Well, to have boundaries, you do need to put up barriers. Barriers are energetic walls, right? To barriers are energetic walls, and to justify your boundaries, you do need to have energetic points of views, which are judgments.
Also, I feel like boundaries is more of a point of view than anything else. And everything that shows up is really just out of a reaction from the point of view of having boundaries. So it's more like a point of view of the need to protect yourself or the need to have a distance between two people. According to me, I think boundary is just a point of view.
And how often is that comfortable, that distance that you talked about? It's comfortable,
Yeah.
like a comfortable distance, just maintaining it. So it's like you get too close and you get uncomfortable, or if you have an argument and you kind of separate, that makes you uncomfortable too. But
Yeah.
isn't it interesting? Because if you look up the meaning of relationship, it's a distance between two objects. So we are really trying hard to create a relationship between, you know, mother and son, son and daughter, or husband and wife, or grandparents and grandkids, while trying to maintain a relationship which energetically is maintaining a distance.
Yeah.
So what you really want to ask to create is a creationship with family, which is the creation that you both be for each other, instead of being the distance that you're being for each other.
The creation, the caring, the contribution, the receiving, and the honoring. Now, what's really interesting about honoring is if you're truly honoring someone, you will never ever give them more than what they can receive.
Yeah.
And that's a huge aspect of honoring because, giving someone more than they can receive is a huge dishonoring of who they be. So it's like if you truly honor them, you will know how much they're willing to receive, and you will never dishonor them by trying to, give more than what they're willing to receive. And that in
That's
itself,
such a big one, what you just said, because when you try to give someone more than what they can receive, it's a form of abuse on them.
it is.
Yeah.
And it's not like abuse is a very big word. Abuse is a really big word to use, but it's like it feels like to them, it feels like a tug where they have to now fight for their point of view where they don't want to receive what you're giving them. So
Yeah.
it's like there's a constant conflict between your gifting and their receiving that kind of steps in that now feels like a conflict in their world that they have to juggle with.
Mm. That, yes, a conflict in the world that they have to juggle with and try to balance instead of just be with each other.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And to balance, you have to be in constant judgment.
Yes. You have to be in constant judgment for your receiving to never exceed your gifting.
Oh,
Like it's a true
Yeah.
because for balancing one side always has to be equal to the other side. So you'll never allow your receiving to be greater, or you will never allow your gifting to be greater, because it's like a balance sheet, right? It's
Mm,
like if all of us really function from this point of view of a balance sheet, or we've grown up really having balance sheets engraved in our heads, we'll never allow ourselves to make a profit financially.
mm,
Everything will always have to balance out. Just proper balance, so you are just breaking even
yeah.
at all times, because that's just the accurate calculation that is required. Similarly, it's like you won't ever allow your gifting to outcreate your receiving, or your receiving to outcreate your gifting, because the magic of this actually is that if you allow yourself to receive more, it will contribute to gifting. And if
Mm,
you allow yourself to gift more, you will automatically, like when you give someone, you automatically receive,
yeah.
but it's this conflict of constantly having to balance both, where you just won't allow any kind of outcreation to occur.
That. And yeah.
How many people believe in, I had this one I'm very close to this person, extremely close. I love her. But it's like I remember this one instance where she came up to me and she's like, "Oh, let me buy you a dress." I was like, "No, it's not." No, no. She said, "No, no, she paid for my dress." And after 5 minutes, she looks at me. She's like, "Okay, now we're equal." And I looked at her face and I was like, "What?" I was like, "That's why you bought me a dress, because you wanted to pay me back for what I got for you last time." Like that blew my mind, because it was the first time I figured out that people actually function like that.
Yeah.
Like
It's a
there's
give and
such
take.
a
It,
hmm?
it's a give and take. It's a give and take in a relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. Instead
What?
of being the gifting and the receiving, it becomes
Yeah.
give and take. It's like that
Yeah.
transactional reality within families where, you're constantly being that energy of, okay, now what do I have to give so I can justify what I took?
Yes.
Yeah. And how much is, how much of that is prevalent in families?
Lord.
And that's where
I
you don't, yeah.
It's funny you say that, because there's something I've been observing recently, and you guys tell me if it's not true, okay? But like a lot of times I see families, especially Indian and Asian families, like I see a lot of people they put a lot of pressure on themselves, like a lot of pressure on themselves to kind of, for example, it's like if someone in the house is getting married, they'll put so much pressure on themselves to outdo what that person may have done for you when you were getting married, because you want to be the one to have the last word. And in that process, there's so much self abuse that occurs, there's so much self dishonoring that occurs. And it's like you put so much pressure on yourself just to have this false sense of respect, or this false sense of out creation that you think you're creating. And
Yeah.
it's like really painful to watch, because there's such a lack of gifting and receiving, and more of give and take that is occurring in families, instead of just like they did what they did because they did it out of their desire to, just like because they were excited and happy for you, and you're receiving makes them happy, and now like whatever you would like to do for them, you can do out of like sheer joy and caring for them, and you don't have to think about balancing what they did for you. But that's not how families work. Families in this reality are constantly thinking about how they can balance out what the next person did, so they don't have to ever owe them anything or be an obligation to them, which is a really sad reality, because in family is a one place where I have the point of view that family is one place where obligation must not exist. Like that's family should be a safe haven.
Yeah.
you know a lot of times family should be your safe haven, where you find people that just don't judge you, and they're willing to contribute, willing to receive, they're willing to gift, and it's like, and they're willing to give you space when you require. But that's not a point of view a lot of people have around the world.
Yeah.
What will it take for that to
Yeah.
change?
What will it take? And everywhere that, um, gifting has been rejected, as it kind of creates a sense of obligation in your world.
Yeah.
Will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, call nine shots, boys, forwards, and beyonds. Now, that is a clearing statement of access consciousness. If it sounds totally wacky and crazy, it is.
Mhm.
It does clear the energy or whatever the question brings up in your world. And you may feel lighter after the clearings, or you may not. So, also, how often is, obligation? How often does obligation? And I know we have a couple of questions from Lata and Suman and from Purnima in the chat, and we just get to them. But also, I just wanted to just bring this energy also into your world, that how often does obligation come from the sense of the need to be responsible as a parent, the need to be responsible as a child, the need to do it right and never do it wrong, which keeps you constantly, looking at judging yourself if you got it right or wrong. Responsibility takes the joy away of gifting. Where you do something because you're responsible for your son or your
Oh
daughter,
my
your
gosh, I see what
parents.
you're talking
It,
about.
it, it takes away the joy of gifting. It becomes a give and take. But if there is no responsibility from a space of, I have to do this, but it
Or
comes,
it's more like I have to kill myself during doing this. Like
yeah,
how many times you
yeah,
kill your very being, the very joy of your being during the process of pulling off a responsibility that you think is real.
yeah. And instead of being the energy of, I'm responsible towards, what if you looked at it as choice? Like, I'm
Mm.
choosing to be this for my kids. I'm choosing to bring this for my parents. And I'm choosing to be this energy instead of, I have to do this because I'm the child, or I have to do this because I'm the parent or the
I
grandparent.
have to do this because I'm the parent.
Yeah. And that's where you create, where you give up the joy of having someone in your world. That could truly be the gift that you've been asking to have. Okay, should we go to questions, Isha? I know we have Lata
Yes,
and then we'll go to Suman.
yes,
Lata,
yes.
Yeah, hi.
hi.
Hi, Isha.
Hi.
My question was, how do we differentiate between lowering of our barriers and dependency when it comes to receiving?
Lowering or bad? Isha, you want to take that one?
Sure. Um, so okay, so this is what I can make out from your question, but so how many of you have decided that if you lower your walls and barriers, you will have to become dependent on the person you're just getting vulnerable with?
Yeah.
Everything that becomes a godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, online shots, boys, poets, and beyond. Thank you for that energy because that is huge. A lot
Yeah.
of people think that if they lower their walls and barriers, or if they receive the next person, they'll actually become really dependent on them. But the beauty of consciousness is that you are the most powerful energy of your life. That is the very source of, not source, but like that is the first thing of access consciousness that it teaches us. It's like you are the source of your reality. Now, choice. Choice is for you to create, generate, and make, and change, and choose, and, choose again. But it's like, and putting your walls and barriers down actually allows you to receive the next person so much more. And it's so beautiful because you allow them to receive you so much more. And it has nothing to do with being dependent on them because you know that the entire universe is here to contribute to you. The only way you will become really dependent on this one person, whatever that person is, could be a friend, husband, in-law, parent, child for a lot of people. It's like the only way you can be really, really dependent on just one person is when you cut off your knowing that the entire universe is here to contribute to you and you are not alone.
Yeah.
You won't
Okay.
have a need, you won't have a need ever to be this energy of sucking neediness on one person when you know that every single molecule in the whole universe is sending people, it's sending energies, it's sending opportunities, possibilities, experiences to you your way that will actually make your life grow. And funnily enough, the more you put your barriers down, the more you can allow that for yourself. You
Mm.
know, the more you put your barriers down, the more you will allow the universe to send that to you. People, possibilities, choices, great experiences, all of that can only come your way once you put your barriers down. Because it's like barriers, it's like having a wall up, right? So it's like even the universe has sent something, this wall is up, you are behind this wall, and this possibility is on that side of the wall. So it's like you won't allow yourself to see it even, or even recognize that it's something that is a contribution. And then in return, we'll sit and cry that the universe doesn't love us. Where in actuality, the universe is actually constantly sending us these beautiful people, possibilities. But because we have this wall in front of us, we're not able to really see it or recognize it for what it is.
That's
Yeah.
so beautifully explained.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Isha. And I
Thank
just had,
you.
sorry, I had one more question.
Please go ahead.
That when you come across a wall, for when it comes to a very close person close to you, and the person needs help but is refusing. I know you said you need to honor, but how do you deal with it? How else do you deal with it other than honoring?
Do you want to take that question, Bob?
Yeah, sure. So when there's somebody who requires help,
Yeah.
they're not willing to receive it from you,
Hmm.
you still want to help them, they're not going to receive you. They're going to
Hmm.
make you pay for it.
100%.
The
But
only
a
way,
question,
I said, the only way in that moment would be to allow them to not receive from you and to
Okay.
make yourself available to them for them to know that you are there for them
Hmm.
if they so choose to receive from you.
Hmm. Okay.
and a question I love asking around such energies is, what energy can I be around them that they require me to be right now? It's not based on what I think help is or what I think I need to help them with, but it's more like, hey, what do they require? Because we're always thinking from our perspective about how I can help them, how I can show them a different path, how I can
Hmm.
show them a possibility. But really, like, if you ask the question, what is it that they really require me to be over here? And you get the awareness of just presence, and you won't even recognize what a big
Oh,
contribution your
okay. Thank you.
presence is to
Thank you for
them.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's
we keep thinking, what do I have to say? I have to say something accurate. I
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
give them something accurate. I have to show them. But no. What
yeah.
if
Yes.
your presence is like the greatest gift they require in that
Yes.
moment? And we
Yes.
underestimate it.
Yes.
and presence could also just be being so energetically available for them,
Yeah.
Hmm.
that they don't miss your energy in their world,
Hmm. Okay.
you know
Yeah, I got it.
it's not that you have to physically be with them all the time.
Hmm.
Energetically, you're so present with them that that they're receiving from you anyway.
Yeah.
And also, if I can just add another thing here, Lata,
Hmm.
that when you need to help anyone, whether you need to help your kids, whether you need to help your parents or sibling or friends or whatever, you have to make them less than you, and you have to judge yourself as being superior than
Hmm.
them or greater than them. But and that's where you actually energetically you send them a message that you are less than and you're not good enough and you can't do this, and now I need to help you,
Hmm.
which again is not empowering. What is
Okay.
empowering is, like Isha said, to that presence that you can be with them is the most empowering energy that you can be with a loved one. To
Yeah.
be present with them in the intensity of them rejecting you, to be present with them in their intensity of caring for you, in their intensity, being present with them in their intensity of of just not wanting you around, but with you not judging it or needing to run away from it, but just being present with it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chandana. I'm
Oh,
sorry my video is off. I'm moving around in the kitchen, so
no worries. Thank you for your.
thank you. Thank you both so much. Yeah.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you.
I hope it contributed.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Suman, my dear Suman. Hi. Mm.
Hi. First of all, I'm so grateful for universe for this call to show up in my space today
Thank.
because maybe I was needing it. I just want you to discuss about sibling rivalry when I have to honor both my kids and I have to respect their choices. But many times it happens, their choices are so opposite that being a parent, it's being very difficult for me to manage both together in the same house.
Yeah. Should I take that one, Isha?
Please do.
Lata says, thank you for that. Yeah, I know these questions could contribute to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And first and foremost, thank you for your vulnerability to ask that question. I mean, how many would rather hide and not even ask with the hope, with the prayer that it'll just change on its own? But you can only change something if you acknowledge what's really going on. If you don't acknowledge what's really going on, you cannot change anything. So when you look at siblings, you want to recognize that they are infinite beings that have their own choices. They're different. Every being on the planet is different. Just because they are siblings does not mean that they have to have similar choices, similar likes, similar dislikes. You have, as a parent, you want to look at each sibling, each child of yours as unique, as different, with different asks, with different choices. And the question that you want to ask is, who can I be with this? Like if you've got, say, um, a son and a daughter, you want to ask, who can I be with her? And who can I be with him? If you've got two girls or two boys, the same question, or three or four or five. Most of us are taught to parent in a certain way, so it makes parenting easy for us. Okay. It's like, it's like, I'll give you an example here. I have my two girls, so, and our younger one is 10 years younger than our older one. And Raj and I brought up our girls very differently because they are different. You know, they required a different energy.
Noor and I actually laughed today that we both grew up with different parents. We did not have the same parents whatsoever. They were the same faces, but definitely very different.
Yeah, because you got to look. I mean, I would go to Raj and tell him, I did, I would say the same thing to Isha and she would listen. Why doesn't Noor listen? Am I not good enough mother? Am I not doing it right? And I would put all this tension and these questions on myself as to see where I was going wrong.
Mm.
Instead of acknowledging that she just requires me to be different with her. So, when you can be that with both without making one right or the other right, or one wrong or the other wrong, is when the child senses that he's being heard and seen for who he is.
Yeah.
Instead of, I have to be like my sister because my sister's being accepted by my father or my mother. So now I have
Yeah.
to try hard to be like them.
That's where the sibling rivalry actually really stems from, is when they're so they feel that they're not being accepted for who they are and they have to. Yes.
Here, both of them are in excess also. So both of them and me also. I understand that these two are different people. They have different identities, different choices, different asks.
Yeah.
But sometimes to honor them, one or both or all, I feel that sometimes I have to dishonor myself.
Sweetheart, you can never honor anybody by dishonoring yourself.
That's
That's
what
not
I'm
true
confused
honoring.
here. How it is honoring to them if it is not honoring to me?
You got to ask, what is honoring here? What can I be here? You got to go into question. What is honoring of me, of them? Who can I be here?
Another thing with parents actually is they get very emotionally involved in their children's choices. If they are fighting, oh my God, what have I done? What's going on with my family? Oh,
What is she, what is she discharged?
my family. Oh.
Kids are fighting.
But it's like that really doesn't contribute to any of the kids, and the kids are like, they're not trying to break your family apart or they're not, gonna fall apart. It's just they're just having a moment where they're communicating with each other a little differently in that second. But it's like what you want to really do in that moment when they're having something going on is kind of withdraw, not take either of their side, so they don't feel like you're taking someone's side over the next person. Just withdraw your energy a little bit out of their world and their reality so they're not tugging on your energy or, you know, playing on that against the other sibling. And it's like when you kind of pull your energy out, you allow them to do their thing, and allow it to take its course, and as long as there's no violence. But like once that is done, they it's a very different energy when they know that they both are being received right now, even though they both have very different points of views.
Yeah.
They both are arguing, but you're not taking anyone's side. You're not saying you're right, you're wrong, or you must change, become more like this next person. Have you seen how well this sibling of yours did? Study like them and go become someone like them. Like none of that really exists. And I know you don't do that, but like I'm just giving that as an example because a lot of parents actually, I mean, they don't know any better, honestly. It's not their fault. They're just trying to do the best they can for their child with the tools that they have. But
But
it's like
sometimes
when,
they want me to be so empowered, which right now maybe I am not.
A lovely question that, I mean, and it's not just lovely, it's really, it's a very transforming question is, what are my kids facilitating me to be here?
yeah, great
What is my
question.
son facilitating me? What is my daughter facilitating me into being that I'm not willing to be?
Yeah, I'm not willing to be. I'm not willing to take that power. And I can sense they want me to get empowered. That's all maybe their demand.
So ask this question more, Suman. What what when they have a fight or whatever, or even otherwise ask, what are my kids facilitating me into being? Your kids are your greatest facilitators.
Yeah,
Your greatest facilitators. They know what you gave up to be a parent. And I don't mean gave up in the form of things or whatever. I mean you gave a part of you up to be a
yeah,
parent.
yeah.
And
I'm
the kids
getting.
don't know when the kids come into this planet, into the world, they don't know to give up. They know to add to their life. So they see you doing that. They see you being that. And how much of, how often are your children trying to facilitate you to reclaim and re-own who you truly be?
Yes.
But we go to the judgment of who the kids are. That gets us again to create separation and the boundaries and the barriers and, everything that's not really contributing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your question.
I just want to read what Purnima said, then we'll go to Gaurav. Um, and Mahima also said something, and Neeraj said something. Okay, the number of um, yeah. When your gifting is taken for granted by the other person as being entitled to receive without valuing the gift, then the transaction loses joy. When there is deservability and when there is an energy of this is what I deserve, as this is an entitlement, there is no gifting in that, Purnima. It's just, it's just a judgment of being superior that justifies you to take. When I say you, I mean the person.
Mm.
It's like you're using that to justify why you are taking. But in receiving, there is, and in gifting, there is no justification. There is no, I'm doing this because. In gifting and receiving, it's just an energy that you be as you're willing to be that energy for them. Okay? Did that kind of give you clarity, my dear?
Also, I just want to,
Right.
Yeah.
in gifting and receiving, there's actually no transaction that occurs. Transaction is actually a give and take.
That's what one is waiting for.
Yes, but if
That's
we
what
start
one is
to
waiting for.
no, please go ahead.
Because when you're constantly, initially you are giving, you're doing it out of the sheer joy of giving.
Yeah.
And later on, when it becomes obligatory, that the other person is only going to receive, and then when you need something,
Mm.
there is no reverse flow of that gift when you really need it. And that is the time one feels that this balance sheet is not balancing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Balance sheet is not balancing. I gave more, I got less.
That is
Yeah.
true.
I
And
love what you just said.
yeah, because this can't go on for very long. And you know very well that what you are expecting or desiring or your need, you have perceived a need and given without even being asked. But
Yeah.
when you need it and it's not coming your way, and when you voice it also, it seems like an imposition. That that hurts.
So I just want to talk a little bit about, the expectations here. In
Hmm.
family, most of us have expectations. We are taught to have expectations. As a child, we are taught that mom will do this for you, dad will do this for you, dad will bring the money, dad will educate you, mom will give you the food. Don't worry, mom and dad are there, they'll do it for you. So we kind of are educated to expect from parents. And as the kids grow up, there's a very subtle form of expectation that is projected at the children. If there's a son, the projections would be, you must take care of me because now when I get old, you are my son, you must take care of me. If there's a daughter, there's a different form of expectation on the daughter. But these are very subtle expectations that, many of us don't even know that we are projecting at our children, but we are being that energy of projection. When we are projecting at the kids receive the energy because energy speaks way louder than words. You may or may not say it, but they
Yeah.
hear it. And a lot of times, kids will go into uh, it's like, if you've told a child you have to go to school, your child will instantly be like, I don't want to go to school. You tell them, eat carrots, they'll be like, no.
I don't want to eat carrots.
I don't want to eat carrots. So, they want to do just the opposite of what you tell them. So when they constantly hear, yeah, Mahima, caught you on that one. So, so when you constantly are projecting that at children energetically, the kids are programming themselves to already go into rejection and reaction to the expectations.
Hmm.
But now, what can we do to change that? You can always ask a question of all the projections, expectations, separations, rejections, and judgments that I have of my kids and that my kids have of me, or my spouse has of me and I have of my spouse. I destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shots, boys, forwards, and beyonds.
Other thing about receiving, I'm sorry, did you want to
Yeah.
just complete
I just wanted to
that?
say that if you destroy and uncreate your projections, expectations, separations, rejections, and judgments every day on a daily basis, your kids, they will magically, instantly change.
And how do
And
you do that?
by just saying this, I'll type it out, or maybe one of us can, yeah, I'll type it out for you if I'm fast enough.
I didn't quite understand that.
Yeah, I will type that out. And the other one that you want to be is I destroy and uncreate everything that this relationship has been up until now. You
So the
cannot
thing about
take
destroy
from
and uncreate is you're not destroying and uncreating your relationship. It's not like you're destroying and uncreating the relationship that you've built with this person so far, but so what is true can never be destroyed. The only thing that you're destroying and uncreating are all the lies, all the projections, the expectations, the hidden agendas, the limitations that keep your relationship from actually being the greatness that it is here to be. That's what it destroys, because anything that is great and true can never really be destroyed, because that is the truth.
Okay.
and
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 this is
before
another
like,
thing
the
about,
clearing
do you
statement
repeat that to
stops.
yourself? Do you repeat this to yourself or what? How
Yes,
does it?
yes. I'm just typing it out.
that's okay. So another thing about receiving is that true receiving actually includes a lot of gratitude. If someone is not, like, if there's no gratitude, there's actually no receiving going on in there. So you can
I agree.
ask the question, what will it take for them to truly receive me? And what will it take for me to truly receive them with complete ease? It's another question you can ask.
But when the receiving is not happening, when
Yeah.
it's very rare, and then you feel the need to show the gratitude so that it becomes more,
Yeah.
then it almost seems that, oh my God, this person has done so much for me and I have to show it. That's artificial. That's not
That
real.
is artificial.
Mm. And you're trying to prompt the other or motivate the other person for doing more of what that person doing, but body language is understood. The person is not a fool. But at
Yeah.
the same time, if somebody gets away with giving much less and taking away much more, that seems exploitative. And that is, at some point, it becomes very difficult to deal with that, because that is the time you say, okay, enough is enough.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, and
So I
there are
think,
times when you have to say that.
Hmm.
That's you honoring yourself.
Yeah, one has to, because perhaps there are so many limitations that you're crossing to be able to. First, you've done created that image, and then you're living up to that image and torturing yourself in the process. That you're doing so much that that doesn't get acknowledged or reciprocated. And when it does, then you feel, oh my God, once in a blue moon opportunity. Okay, let me praise it. And then, and then that becomes, okay, this much is enough for her. We can do this much and get away with. That
So
is,
run this and see what it changes for you.
I will,
Okay?
I will.
Tanisha, we have
Thank you
another
so much.
question. You're welcome there.
Gaurav has his hand raised for a
Okay.
while now.
Yeah, sorry. Got it.
Yeah, hello, Chandana ma'am.
Hi.
So, uh, one thing is basically like whatever my question is, it is all related to having relationship issues with my family. So I was about to ask like that you just gave us this cash juniors clearing. So will I just, just use it every day on a daily basis with all my, parents, siblings, and neighbor society? Does that help? Is that, going to help?
It does. I have changed a lot of my relationships by using these two tools. One is to destroy and uncreate everything that my relationship has been up until now with the person.
Mm.
And one is to destroy and uncreate all my projections, expectations, separations, rejections, and judgments.
Yeah, and second part of that is like uh, currently I'm not working, right? For some time I'm not working, like for past 3 or 4 years. I was working, but I was working in sort of an internship, some type of thing from home. So that was not a proper job. So the thing is that like my family keeps on gaslighting me, manipulating me, trying to make me crazy. all the time. I mean, like for the past 10, 15 days, it's going crazy. Like they are just after me and they want to make me crazy at the very, uh, I mean,
Can
जल्दी
anyone
से जल्दी रहना चाहते हैं.
can anyone make you crazy, Gaurav?
No, no, no one can. But I just it gets really difficult to be in that situation because they behave with me as if I'm the one, although I'm not at this moment.
Ask the question, who can I be here that can change this?
Okay,
Okay?
and
Another
yeah,
question I love asking in situations like these is, what energy, space, consciousness can I and my body be to out-create, out-manipulate, and outshine myself with complete ease? It's like whatever you're allowing yourself to be, that is allowing this to go on with your parents constantly, because this only goes on with them if you allow yourself to be an energy where, I mean, it's choice. So ask yourself to outshine your energy that is allowing yourself to be gaslighted, gaslight, or it's allowing yourself to be manipulated by them. Ask yourself to outcreate, outshine, and outmanipulate yourself. So you will never ever be manipulated by anyone else ever again. And that's something I love asking.
okay.
The great questions. Yeah. Neeraj,
What do you think can I be to outshine, outfit, or manipulate
I'll
myself?
put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat.
So that was the question basically I was having because I am not, although I have done foundation, I don't do manipulation because uh, I just don't do it. I don't know why.
manipulation is an energy of a contribution, or what energy can I contribute to them that has them being what would contribute to me? It's not lying, it's not cheating. It's an energy that actually you're manipulating the energy that can actually create greater for everybody involved.
Mm.
Okay, great. Yes, Livleen, we'll just come to you, sweetheart. I'm just going to go to Neeraj and then to you. Yeah, Neeraj.
Yeah, hi, hello everyone. Uh, Chandana, my question is regarding that how do I have a cordial relationship with my family members? And my family members include extended family members apart from my parents, like uncles, aunts, and cousins. So, what challenge I am being faced is the issue of trust. So, they are not trusting me, and I don't know why. Even though I always come up from the point of view of that I want to be of service to them and to anyone else also. So that's what is going on within my family. And I feel like why I'm not able to contribute to my home, whereas I can do the same thing outside very easily, but not inside my family. I hope you got my point.
Isha, you want to take that?
This is um This is something that I think is extremely common amongst a lot of people where they feel that they can contribute a lot more to other people or outside of their own personal environment. But I want to say that's not true because you cannot be or do anything for anyone else that you're not being and doing for yourself. So the first space I would like to invite you to is like kind of acknowledging the energy that you're being for someone else because it's you who's making that energy available and accessible. Otherwise, it just wouldn't exist. Now that you know it exists for you, ask for that to show up in your family for yourself, for your choices, for your space, whatever it is you're asking for as well. Just ask for it. A lot of times it's like we don't acknowledge the brilliance and the beauty and the invitation that we actually be to other people because we think, nahi, they're so great, they're so amazing, they're so potent, they're able to do it. I'm not. No, but like what invitation and what energy are you being that is accessible, that is available, and that is choosable? And now, what if that can be chosen for yourself as well? It's like anything at all you're being for anyone outside or for someone else can only exist because you already are it. You already be it.
Yes, yes. And how to do that ask specifically, if you can suggest something?
All you can do is ask, what will it take for me to be this even with myself or even for myself? Like for example, if you've created this huge financial miracle with someone, like they've been able to outcreate a financial problem for themselves, and like congratulate yourself on that. Congratulate them on that. It's a contribution that you've been for them, and they're choosing that made them outcreated. But it's like for you to recognize, okay, you know what will it take for me to be this for myself as well now? What will it take for me to outcreate my financial challenges with complete ease? It's just
Got it.
as simple as that.
Yes.
And ask the universe to, like, give the universe permission to show you magic and miracles for yourself. Because it's a free will universe, right? A lot of us know this. It's a free will universe. The universe will never ever give you anything you do not want or that you do not ask for, which is why access is so big about asking, because we honor every single person's choice. And that's what the universe really is. It's a honoring of every single being. So if you're not going to ask for it, the universe will make sure that it doesn't give you, because it doesn't know whether you would like it or not. If you would truly, truly desire something, like ask give you permission. This is me letting you know that I actually would really, really like more ease in my life. I would like way more joy with my wife. I would like way more joy with my children. What is it that you're looking for that you can ask for? You just haven't
Mm.
asked for yet.
Okay. Got it.
Yes.
I hope that helps.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll take Liveline's question and before, yeah. Hi. We can't hear you, Livline. I think you're muted. You need to unmute yourself, please.
You
On,
should also be able to unmute her, mom. You're the host. I
okay.
think you can unmute her.
How do I do that? It's saying ask to unmute.
I just asked to unmute. Otherwise, you should get a notification. There we go.
Yeah. Hi, Chandana. Hi, Isha. How are you?
Hi.
Okay, I kind of, I've been listening to everybody, and I think a lot of what is going on in my mind is kind of answered. And I think, like you said, that you just need to ask the universe. Is it like manifesting and saying the right? Are you supposed to choose the right words and all of that? One question is that. Second is like what Purnima was saying, and I think I'm known in my circle of friends and family and stuff that you're a giver, and I have a lot of pleasure giving and doing things for people. But
Yeah.
of late I'm coming to that stage where I feel, oh, I'm tired doing this, and I feel that I'm going against my nature, and kind of changing as a person and not being myself. So I'm just kind of worried about that what does one do that you don't want to feel used or taken for granted, uh, you know and what do you do to that, that kind of negative feeling that you get about yourself?
That's
Like,
that's yeah.
I'll take the first part. You want to take the second
Yes,
part?
yes, take the
Okay.
first part, please.
So the first question where it's about it's not ever about the words or the phrases or using the accurate statement correctly or putting the right word before the next word. It's not about that at all. In fact, it's all about energy. Um, it's all about your energy of asking for what you truly, truly desire. Yes, there are lots of questions in access, tons of them, but they all come from a very natural space of having a moment where they wanted to change something. So they asked a question. So that question got shared with everyone. And it's like, hey, this changed so much for me. But it started with that one person asking a question. They didn't have any framing to do. They didn't have any words. They just had a moment where they knew they wanted to change something. So they asked a question. That's where those questions come from. So it's like, if you would like to practice asking questions, just make the universe your friend. The way you would talk to your friend, the way you'd be like, hi, can you pass me that plate, please? Or, you text them, are you free for at 5 o'clock for a cup of coffee? I really need a chat. I've had a hard day, I could do with a spa. You want to go to the spa massage? Let's get a massage done. So it's like, allow yourself to speak with the universe the way you would speak to a friend. Hey, universe, this is really hard for me. Is there any way we can just add a lot of ease to this, please? I don't want it to be hard anymore. Please, let's add ease to it. It's just as simple as that. And then as you go on and as you flex your muscle more and more and more and more, you'll recognize exactly what conversations you would like to have and what really you are asking for in your life. Like a lot of us don't even, like a lot of us are not aware about what we really, really would
Want.
like to ask for. It starts with simple things. Oh, I'd like a coffee machine. Oh, I would really like a, I mean, these are not simple things, but they start with, things that are appropriate to ask for.
Yeah.
But,
And they kind of happen
but
quickly, Yeah.
yeah, according to our point of view, okay, fine, it's not too much, not too many people in this. It's very easy. Make it happen. But it's like as we keep going on, you recognize that this thing about questions and the universe is so dynamic that there really is no end to it. There's a depth in the engaging with the universe that when it's giving you something, it doesn't take something from someone else. In fact, when you're the first person to ever ask for something that no one has ever asked for, it makes it available for someone else now because you asked. So it's like the universe is actually like a really huge, generous, contributing energy where it doesn't have any end to anything. And in fact, just because you have something, it doesn't make it not available for someone else. In fact, it just makes it more available for someone else because you asked.
Okay. Got it.
Right.
Thanks.
That was so well explained, Isha. And keep asking questions. Don't worry about the question being right or wrong. Like Isha said, just go with the energy. Okay. It's like
Okay.
we start our day generally with questions, but even knowingly or unknowingly. But when the question is something that opens up a door of possibilities, starts to create way more. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So the second part of your question, which was about, how do you honor yourself? What I got from your second part was, how do I honor myself with
Yes.
everything, with just gifting and giving and giving, and you getting depleted?
Yes.
Because see that if you are depleted, you cannot give anyone
Yes.
anything. Okay, you
Yes.
can't even give yourself. You can't even be the gift for yourself. So what I would really suggest here is to wake up every morning or whenever during the day and ask a question like, what gift am I that I'm not acknowledging? Acknowledge the gift that you are. Acknowledge the gift of who you be.
Mhm, mhm.
And ask that question every morning. What gift am I that I'm not acknowledging? And then go from there. Another question that you can ask is, what 5 elements of intimacy can I be? 5 elements of intimacy is something that, Isha, if you can go into the conversation of the 5 elements of
Absolutely.
intimacy, and then we
The
can.
5 elements of intimacy are actually, it's actually one of my favorite topics of access. It showed me something that like a lot of us, that we knew it existed, but we didn't know how to receive it or be it for that matter. So when we talk about intimacy, there are 5 elements of intimacy. The first one being trust, honor, gratitude, vulnerability, and allowance. These are the 5 elements of intimacy that we talk about in Access. And a lot of it, we go into depth with this in the foundation class, but it's like, it's, if we can stop looking at trying to make a perfect relationship or creating a perfect relationship, an acceptable relationship, any of that nonsense. And we can just ask to instill the 5 elements of intimacy in our relationships. It will be the most beautiful interaction you have ever had with anyone. And most importantly, please instill the 5 elements of intimacy with yourself first. So you can be that with someone else.
Yeah.
Can we have it? Can you write it down, Chandana? It would be
Absolutely.
great. Yeah, the 5 elements of intimacy. Yes, I'll copy it down. Yeah, thank you.
And
Thanks.
we
That was beautiful.
also
Okay.
asking
Yeah.
that question of what 5 elements of intimacy can I be with me, it kind of fills you with the energy that you feel depleted. You're like, I don't
Yeah.
have the energy. Like, you're doing. And as a mother, as a daughter-in-law, as a mother-in-law, as a, wife, as all those relationships, they can often deplete you. So in that moment, ask, what 5 elements of intimacy can I be with me? What 5 elements of intimacy can I be with my body? What 5 elements of intimacy can I be with family?
Yeah.
And start to grow that. And you will see how much your relationships start to shift and change.
Okay.
So we are having Isha and I hope this contributed to everyone,
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And Isha and I
Let
are
us have a picture.
yes, Harishji, just a minute.
Smile, smile, please.
Okay.
All of you. Done.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
you. Have a
Good
conscious
night.
parent, conscious kid 1.5 hour call coming up on the 19th of June, which is for 1,950 rupees. It's one of the tasters that we're putting out there for everyone who would like to have more in the form of with family, with relationships, and maybe we can share the link here. It's going to be from 7:30 in the evening to 9 p.m. India time, which would be an hour and a half back for Indonesia, and it would be 7 a.m. for the US, for PST. So if any of you are interested, feel free to reach out to us, and we would love you to join us. And I truly wonder what we can all create, and what if family truly is the gift that you always knew when you chose the family that you are in? What if you always knew it was a gift? And what if now is the time to actually receive that and be that?
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I am so grateful for each one of you for joining us. And thank you. And
Truly. Thank you so much. This was such a wonderful start to my day.
oh, and a
Thank you.
great end to mine. Love you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Night.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Isha and
You're
Really
Chandana. Thank
enjoyed
welcome.
you.
it.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
Have
you.
a
you
great
so
day.
much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.